Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, the Houston Rockets win a very, very big, significant game against the Los Angeles Clippers, 122 to 115. Significance behind this game is that it is longtime Rockets announcer Bill Worrell's final game. He's been announcing our game since 1980. So solid 41 years that he's been covering the Houston Rockets games. And so it is a very bittersweet end for Bill Worrell. He has been an integral part of the Houston Rockets and the culture that we've developed over the past 40 years or so. And he's been an icon in Houston sports. And so, of course, we will all miss him. It's nice that he can give us his farewell with a nice victory against the Los Angeles Clippers. And of course, we all wish the best for him moving forward in his career. Now, looking at this game, a lot of solid contributions from every single team. Again, every single player. Again, we didn't have our best players in this game. Kevin Porter Jr. was out. John Wall was out, as we all know. Christian Wood was out. But also on the other side for the Clippers, Paul George not playing, Kawhi Leonard not playing. So it's a pretty even match on both sides, both teams missing their top two players. But a very, very solid team win. Everyone chipping in and doing their part. Kelly Olynyk and Jayshawn Tate, both the tied leading scorers for this game, each scoring 20 points. Olynyk having 11 assists, 9 rebounds, and 3 steals, 42% from the field. Jayshawn Tate having 3 rebounds and assists on 7 for 10 from the field and 3 for 5 from 3. Armani Brooks coming off the bench with 15 points on 3 for 7 from 3, 6 for 11 from the field. Anthony Lamb coming off the bench with 17, 5, and 3 on 6 for 10 from the field and 3 for 5 from beyond the arc. KJ Martin with 13 points and 9 rebounds. Kyrie Thomas, 17 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists on 8 of 11 from the field, which is crazy efficient. He did leave the game in the back end of it with a lower leg injury, and we're not sure whether he will play in the season finale, but we'll see once that comes around. DJ Augustine with 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists was a big part of holding off the Los Angeles Clippers late in the fourth to prevent that little push that they were doing in the mid to late fourth quarter where they got it down to, I believe, a 6-point game. Augustine making sure that they don't continue that comeback and eventually overtaking the game. So that was a very, very key contribution, even though it doesn't really show up as well on the stat sheet. But yeah, I mean, a very, very solid team contribution. And this is the type of thing that you need when you are missing your two best players. You want every single player that's playing to chip in equally. And that's exactly what the Rockets did in this game.
Right, right. It's a really good thing to see here. Whenever you have star players and who are playing like a Kevin Porter Jr., like a Christian Wood, who you expect to have their, like Christian Wood having his 20 and 10 games and Kevin Porter Jr. having his occasional 15 to 20 point games. We always look at role players as like, hey, can they step up? And this game was definitely something that was eye popping. Every single player, or almost every single player on our team, stepped up in their own way. It really shows how much these players have. Like on any given night, if one of our star players is going down, any single one of these players can just go off, contribute more than what they're supposed, or not what they're supposed, what they just are, what most people think they would do. They can just go off, do whatever they want. Tate having 20, shooting well from three, Armani Brooks always shooting well, Anthony Lamb 17 points, KJ having kind of an off night shooting wise, but still able to contribute 13 points. Kyrie Thomas very efficient, DJ Augustine doing his thing as the veteran backup point guard. It really shows all these role players what they can do, and almost all of these players were G League caliber players from last year. Really shows that how much the G League and overseas, all these different things are helping the basketball culture, the basketball game in general. Especially with player development and giving these players the opportunities, and how much the scouting has gone for not just our team with Raphael Stone and the Rocket scouting team, but with all NBA team scouting reports, finding good players, like hidden gems in Australia, in Europe, in the G League, in Africa. Just wherever you go, you will find basketball players.
Yeah, and a lot of the key players this season, not just for the Rockets, but for other teams as well, have been coming from overseas, from the G League. Within our own walls, you have Kyrie Thomas from the G League. You have Kenyon Martin Jr., who developed in the G League, who turned from a second round pick into a very, very serviceable NBA player in just his rookie season in the G League. You have Cameron Oliver, who came from Australia. Jayshawn Tate, of course, also coming from Australia. A lot of players coming from all around the world in the G League. Just goes to show that there are so many options for young talent, and Rafael Stone has been using all of them, and he's been using them quite nicely. Kyrie Thomas in a few games has shown to be an elite two-way player, at least for now, for the Rockets, in that he is scoring the ball really, really well and also playing amazing defense on the other end of the ball. And so it's just been a series of really, really good finds to end the season. Cameron Oliver's shown his flashes as well as an elite interior big. But yeah, a lot of very, very good pickups, and all of them chipping in quite well today, along with the more set veterans of Olynyk and DJ Augustine. And another player who we did pick up from the G League, Armani Brooks, also continuing to play well. Anthony Lamb continuing to play well. Just goes to show all the different options to look for young talent. It's not always just through the draft. There are so many ways to pick up young talent, and we have been using all of them, which is great, especially since we didn't have a first round pick last season. And so the fact that we've been making use of all of these options has been absolutely incredible. Now, as far as this game, it's not a lot to take away from this game. But one thing that could definitely be looked at in this game is the Rockets' effort. They have always been a very grinding out team, especially you need that when you are a rebuilding team. What you don't have in talent, you have to make up for in your effort, in your hustle. And the Rockets have had all of that and more. And it just shows out a lot, especially in games like this.
Right, right. And there really is like one man who you just have to like, throw your hat to, like congratulate him, pat him on the back, and that's Steven Silas for his coaching during this like terrible, terrible season that the Rockets have gone through with all the injuries, with all the drama that was surrounding the James Harden, Russell Westbrook, PJ Tucker, you name it. There was just so much stuff within this organization. And the fact that Steven Silas in his rookie year campaigning as a coach was able to deal with all that, it really, really shows like how mature he is, how good he is at connecting with his players and all. Because the Rockets are already eliminated from playoff contention, and with when people usually know that, they're usually like, "Man, our season's over. What's the point of trying so hard?" But in the second last game of the season, you can see us playing as if it's the as if it's we're there in the play-in tournament, like it's game 7 of the NBA finals. Like every game matters, especially to these young guys. They all want to go out there and prove to Coach Silas, hey, we're good. Although there are a lot of like injured players like Eric Gordon, John Wall, Daniel House, David Nawaba, Sterling Brown, DJ Wilson, all these guys who are like serviceable role players who are typically on the rotation for the Rockets when healthy. All these young guys that were G League caliber players, they're out there showing, hey, coach, yeah, we might not be like as good talent wise, but you can see we hustle every single play, night in, night out. Whatever you want us to do, we're gonna go out there. We're gonna be scrappy. We're gonna fight. We're gonna, get like pushed around, beat up. We're gonna put our bodies on the line, take charges. And honestly, that's just the best thing you can really see if you're Coach Silas with this young developing team. As we're transitioning from, we were contending just a few years back to going, full on rebuild mode, trying to build through this draft and, focus almost solely on rebuilding this team and player development.
Yeah, and right before we wrap up this, an update coming on Kyrie Thomas. It is reported that he has, quote, tweaked his Achilles, per Steven Silas saying in a post-game press conference. He will be getting an MRI tomorrow, and so of course we hope for the best. Hopefully it is nothing serious for Kyrie Thomas. He was playing splendid for us in his few games. Although what I expect is that because of this, he will not play in our season finale. And segueing to that season finale, it's only one more game left in this season for the Houston Rockets. It has not been a fun season at all, but there has been so many positives to take away. And when we wrap up the season against the Hawks on May the 16th, hopefully what we can take away from this season will be great for us moving into stride into the next season. So much to look forward to, even after such a disappointing season for Rockets fans. You have the draft lottery coming up, you have free agency, and you have, of course, all of this stacked young talent on this team. Porter Jr., Jay Tate, Kenyon Martin Jr., Christian Wood, you name it. So many players that we can look forward to developing, turning them into NBA players, turning them into all-star caliber players. So much to look forward to. And that will wrap it up for this post game. Again, a great win as the season is closing out. Of course, also Bill Worrell's final game, calling his final game for the Houston Rockets. A lot of significance in this game and a very, very good win for us as the season is very close to its end. And of course, we thank you for watching. And as always, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And we will see you in the next one for our season finale. Peace.